Hi, my name is Lindsay Lee, and I'm a screenwriter. When I went to university, which was now a long time ago, it was between either doing a actual creative writing undergrad or I just happened to apply. Like I applied to a bunch of stuff, like anything writing related, like journalism, creative writing, film. But I applied to what was then Ryerson. It was called Radio Television Arts. It's now just Toronto Metropolitan University's RTA School of New Media. So yeah, and then I happened to get into that, and I thought, okay, like yeah, it was one of the smaller programs, so I said yes. And when I was there, I specialized in screenwriting because writing was always sort of what I wanted to get into. I really like coming of age stories. I'm doing a lot of kids writing at the moment, which is really fun, and I like the opportunity to be silly in that very specific way. That's a very roundabout answer. My company produced a series called Miikshi, and that was sort of, quite a long process of, it started out just being, us making Miikshi short films, which one of those won an award. So that is something that I am proud of because that was sort of straight out of our heads. Yeah. But the final episode of the Miikshi series on TVO, I wrote that script and it won an award at WIFTY. And yeah, I was quite proud of that because it felt like that was sort of what I wanted the show to be. That sort of very action adventure heavy, but a bit of interpersonal stuff. Yeah. I've been using Trello. Actually, Amanda Joy was the one that introduced me to it over the summer. She was like, I use Trello. And I was like, what's that? But then ever since she showed me and I coordinated on a project of hers using it, I was like, this is amazing. It's sort of like a whiteboard. So I usually use it to do like a really rough dump of ideas. So I'll put them all into, just like a big brainstorming dump, and I can shuffle the little sticky notes around into more or less like a rough outline. And then I can, from there, I look at where the holes are and where it needs filling in and, parts that feel weaker. And I go in and fill that in. And then from there, I take my Trello notes into final draft, write a rough outline. And then it's funny how seeing it in a different form, seeing it written out as prose rather than point form, makes you see different things, different issues. And then go back and fix that. But sometimes I do go back into Trello and, if certain beats aren't working, I'll throw them back in and shuffle around. Then once I'm happy with the outline, then I move on to the draft and kind of just go through that same process again and with feedback and stuff. What part do I dread? It's I read a book about it's called The Artist's Way. Gosh, I can't remember the author now, but anyway, he outlines the stages of a creative project. It's the idea phase is yes, wow, what a good idea, I'm so excited. And you start, you're like, yeah, it's going so well. And then you hit a point, you're like, oh no, I have run into some serious problems. And then it's called the dark night of the soul, when you're like, oh no, how did I get into this? So I definitely experience that pretty much every time I write. I start out with great plans and great gusto, and that is definitely the most stressful part, when you think everything's going well in the story, and then something, you bump on something really big, or not even big but just small, that you can't get past it, and you're trying to figure out, and you're bouncing ideas off of people, and you're kind of banging your head against the wall, trying to fix the story part. You're like, everything would be perfect if only this one part worked. I'm a huge sex education fan, huge. And I just think that whole writing team is just absolutely amazing. That would be such a dream. I'm also really, really into Star Trek Prodigy. Such a good show. A friend of ours, is the head writer on that show, and it's whenever he shares about his writing room, I'm just like, oh, this sounds like a dream. Well, like I said to Kulvinder when I joined with Real Life, my goal was, so I had been the head writer on an original show of ours that ended up on TVO, like I said, but I just wanted experience in other people's writing rooms, and that was one of my goals, which thankfully last year I did get a chance to, which was great. I think just generally I tend to make shorter term goals. I don't know if that's a bad thing, but in the shorter term, building up credits and getting more experience on shows that I really like. Yeah, like there are just certain projects that really excite me, and yeah, just being able to be more selective about the types of things I write on. Yeah, that's probably my short-term goal. It's funny when people ask like, what's your favorite film or TV show? I'm like, I don't know, because it depends on like what I'm watching at the moment. I feel very fickle when it comes to that sort of thing, and I don't know if I have like an overall favorite, but yeah, but definitely those are probably my current favorites. I'm also halfway through season 3 of Dairy Girls right now, and it's so good. There's also an Australian show called Bump that I've been into. That's also really good. But yeah,